How would you describe the experience in a few words?
Surprising in many ways. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. And when I first started to do the breath work, a lot of things that I had buried that I didn't want to really, I wanted to address, but I didn't want to address, started to come up. However, that was mitigated, that uncomfortableness was mitigated with the affirmations, where instead of repressing it, I was able to actually turn it around into a positive way of dealing with it. So it's very useful practice in terms of really getting in touch with things that are not serving you, and at the same time, not allowing them to be overwhelming, but to be able to look at them from a different perspective and to turn them around in terms of the way that they're impacting your life.
Turn facing me. No.
That way, yeah.
Did it help you?
Yeah.
In what way?
Yeah, I think the biggest help that I got from it was that it put me in touch with things that were not serving me, that I didn't really want to look at because I was either afraid to look at them or they seemed too overwhelming at the time. And the breath piece, there's no escaping, getting in touch with those things. But when that's one component of it, but the second component of it, the other half of it, is the ability to not let them have the power that they have over you. Like, you actually regain power in terms of how you are processing those different types of situations, whatever they may be, whatever emotions that they are. So it's very, I think it's very spiritual in one hand. It's psychological in one hand, it's physical in one hand, but it's also spiritual. So it's a connection between the mind, the body, and the spirit.
Is it worth paying 1750 shekels? I
think any time that you want to make a change in your life, you have to get somebody who can actually coach you through it. One of the people that I really look up to is Tony Robbins. He's a life coach. And one of the things he says is, when you want to learn something, when you want to be a master at something, go to someone who knows how to do it and have them teach you how to master it. And anytime someone is giving you that type of a service, yes, of course, it's worth paying for. If you want to, lose weight and, get more physically fit, you need to go to a trainer or a dietitian. If you need to spiritually connect yourself and deconstruct what's going on around you so you can be more effective in not only your personal life, but in your professional life, then yes, this type of an exercise is worth paying for. Sorry. So, that's my thoughts on it anyway.
Do you feel you can do it now independently on your own?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that Kala does that's very effective is she first shows you how to do it, and that's repeated until there's a sense that you actually can do it on your own. So through the process of the boot camp, you're being introduced to the breath work, and you're being shown how to do it several times, and you're being corrected during the process. So if you're not quite doing it right, she has a gentle way of bringing you back to doing it correctly. So the idea is that you have enough of a foundation after the several days to actually do it on your own. And before you finish the last few days, you are doing it on your own, and you can execute it correctly.
Was it effective for dealing with difficult emotions or emotional baggage, the breath work boot camp?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's most effective with dealing with, because I'm the kind of person where if somebody does something that I don't like, I try to ignore it. I don't really process it completely. And it's mainly because I'm too busy, but it's also because I don't enjoy doing that. And when you don't process things like that, what happens is they get stuck and they affect you in other ways, like you overeat, or you maybe you express it differently to somebody who had nothing to do with it. There's a lot of different ways it can come out. So as far as that goes, I think it's one of the biggest benefits is that the idea that you don't have to, you only have to do the breath. You don't have to sit there and overthink it or force yourself to do things. It comes naturally through the breath work. And then the affirmation parts are the parts that really I found to be even more impactful, because once those things are brought up, you're basically, dealing with them in a way that they don't have power over you anymore.
Was it effective for changing your breathing pattern, breathing more fully?
Yeah, so I'm working out, and my breathing is basically chest breathing, where it's like I do shallow breathing. So that was always been the way I breathe. So when I work out now, what happens is I'm actually more conscious of the way I'm breathing, both from if I lift weights, which is something I do, and also from the cardio perspective. So in the cardio, I'm actually doing deep belly breathing versus doing shallow chest breathing, and I'm having more effective workouts too, because I can see that I have more oxygen, so I have more energy, and it just has a really positive effect.
Would you recommend it as a self-therapy program for people?
I would recommend this to anybody who has stress in their life that they don't really understand how best to deal with it. Maybe they're already trying to work out and that helps a little bit, or maybe they're trying to do therapy and things like that, which is great. But I think that if you really want to change something, you have to physically also alter it, so that there's a connection between your mind, your body, and your spirit, so that there's more of a lasting change versus a short-term change. So yeah, I would recommend it.
Okay, anything else you would like to add that I didn't ask you?
Yeah, I think that, working with Kala is very safe. If you feel intimidated by maybe things that might come up, she has a gentle way of speaking about these things with you that is not judgmental and is actually very useful, and she remembers things that you might want to forget, so she can bring them back into the affirmation process and allow you to get where you need to go with it in a way that's not threatening or scary, because it can be scary to look at some of this stuff, whether you're a man or a woman. So that's what I would say.
Thank you.